Microsoft can be a lot of things, some good, some bad. But one thing they've always done really well is to be fairly generous when it comes to allowing developers to learn about their products, and Microsoft 365 and Power Platform is no different. So today I wanted to show you essentially how to get both of these for free. Now, this is only for training purposes, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend running my whole business off these, but they are fully featured E5 licenses. So I'm talking the entire Office 365 suite, I'm talking Power Platform, Outlook, SharePoint, OneDrive, like everything. And you can pretty much do anything you want on these. There's very few restrictions keeping you from learning how everything works. The best part for me is I know some of us might work at big companies where things are fairly locked down, but what I'll be showing you isn't going to be on your work tenant. I'll be showing you how to create your own tenant that you'll have complete control over. So there's no fear of doing anything that results in IT security. Writing you a nasty email. It'll be outside of their jurisdiction. I've been using my tenant for several years, and for me, it's just a really great way to have a sandbox to implement stuff, to get your hands dirty, and just to see how everything works before you head into that meeting with the client or your boss. In terms of prerequisites, you'll need two things. You'll need a mobile phone number and you'll need a Microsoft account. If you don't have a Microsoft account, though, you can just grab one from Outlook.com. All right, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is join the Microsoft 365 Developer Program. I'll pop the link in the chat, but you can Google it pretty easily. Once you find it, just hit join. You'll be asked to put in your country of origin, your business name. You'll be asked what type of project you're working on, your areas of interest. None of these really have to be accurate, but you'll be asked to create a sandbox, in which case you should click next. Next, you'll be asked to provide a username and a password for your admin account. Now, that actually is important, so make sure you do that and you write down the password. Next, you'll be asked to enter your mobile number in for it to send you a code to verify you. Once you've done that and click setup, it will take some time to set up. And from experience, you do need to refresh the page manually. So I just grab a coffee and come back in, say, 10 minutes. Okay, so after the setup is finished, you'll see this profile screen. So there's a couple of things here. Firstly, your Outlook account you use to set up is not going to be the account you use to sign in. And in fact, other than to get to this screen, you won't be needing it anymore. This is your domain name, and all of your accounts in your tenant will have this domain. By default, you'll have this admin account set up, and it'll have the password that you specified earlier. This is the account you'll use to access and administer the tenant. Moving down, we also have these sample packs. So by default, it'll create a whole bunch of fictitious users for you to log in as. It'll also populate some activity with things like the user sending emails and calendar entries and things like that. Um, Users having conversations on Teams. It'll also allow you to create sample SharePoint sites. The whole point of it is that this activity being preceded will help you learn about Microsoft 365 products and what they do. Okay, so let's just go to this my other browser profile so I can walk you through what you actually get. Okay, so on this particular browser, I am logged in as the admin account. Okay, I've navigated to myapps.microsoft.com, and this will show me the apps that I have access to, which is the entire E5 suite. So cycling through some of the tabs, you can see I've got Teams with some generated conversations. You can see I've got a sample SharePoint site that's been created for me. I'm also an admin, so I can go to admin.microsoft.com and you can see that I've got all of my seeded users here, and all of these users will have licenses. They'll have a mailbox, and they'll have job titles, and they're just like a real user, but in my fictitious organization. Now, This is seeded, but having said that, this tenant is completely yours to modify. You're now a global admin in a tenant with 25 E5 licenses. You can delete these users, create new ones, log in with them if you wish. So, yeah. Another thing I was also interested in is Power Platform and how I can get free access to it. So, every E3 or E5 licensed user is actually eligible to create up to free developer environments. These environments aren't for prod purposes, but they have most of the features you'll want. So, premium and custom connectors, the Dataverse, model driven apps. You'll be able to create most of these things on there. And creating it is simply just going to the Power Platform admin center and creating a new dev environment. So, given that each user can create three of these environments and you have 25 E5 licenses, you can actually create 75 of these licenses if you really want. And once the environment's created, you can now just go to powerapps.com and you'll be able to start working in this environment. So, in this video, I've shown you how to get Microsoft 365 and Power Platform both completely for free. This is for learning purposes, but you will get everything. Some final points. I'll also mention that these tenants do need to be renewed every 3 months, but as long as you log in and do something, it'll renew automatically. In fact, I've had my tenant for several years and I use it every day to spin up demos for new clients, try out new features, and to generally upskill myself. Anyway, thanks for watching. And if you do like this video, please support my channel by subscribing or giving it a like. Thank you.